very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on yet another episode of DinamoTV, the official podcast of St. Albans Dinamo. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. My name is tumultuous. I am your host and I'll be with you for the next hour or so thereabouts. It's a jam-packed show, so I can't guarantee it'll be under an hour tonight, but it just may well be. Who have we got on tonight? We've got the coach of the senior women's team, Tom Pondeljak. He'll be joining us a little bit later on. We've got one of the representatives from the junior section, the junior operations, STJEPAN GAL. Lots been happening with regards to the juniors this week. We've got the Football Tech Academy was held over 2 days at Churchill Reserve on Monday and Tuesday. We had the I&D Gala Day, a gathering of all the Croatian community-backed clubs that have junior teams descended upon Churchill Reserve last Sunday. We'll find out all about that. Speaking of our sister clubs, Dandenong City are organising the inaugural Dandy Cup, a tournament for junior girls this coming weekend, and we'll hear all about that from STJEPAN. We're also going to be speaking to the Senior Football Operations Manager, JASON XERRI. It's been a very, very tumultuous week on and off the park for our senior men's NPL team, and we'll get all the lowdown with the departure of senior coach Ryan McGuffie during the week. And also, we will be speaking with the assistant coach of the under-23s, someone that normally stands, well, sort of behind the camera or next to the camera when he's interviewing the coach of the 23s, Adam Tendinini, and the senior coach, Ryan McGuffie, who now is parted ways. Ian Burke, he'll be joining us as well a little later on as well, so we'll be talking to him as well. So there's plenty to keep you entertained, folks, over the next, like I said, 60 minutes or so. So strap yourself in. We're going to have one hell of a ride on DinamoTV episode 13.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St. Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
It's time for the news desk here on DinamoTV, and we got to start from the top. We got to start from the senior men's team, and geez, it wasn't exactly the most enthralling game on the weekend, and we're going to very, very quickly pass this by. 6-0 drubbing at the hands of Heidelberg. Not what the doctor ordered, and certainly not what we want to be seeing, but unfortunately it happened, and hopefully it won't happen again. That leaves us in 10th position on the competition standings. 7 points from our first 7 games. Not exactly what we want to be seeing, and unfortunately that is the case. I think that might actually be, if I'm not mistaken, could be last year's as well. Last week's, I think it is. Moving along to the updated ladder, that's the one we're talking about. Round 8 standings. It sees us now 7 points from 8 games in 11th spot. I knew there was something not right there. So we've dropped down a spot after that result, unfortunately. And so we move along now to this week's game. So this week's game, we've got a really, really important game. It's a match that I guess it's a 6-pointer. That's what we've got to say. Altona Magic this Saturday night, Paisley Park. Kickoff time, seniors kick off at 6:15. The under-23s will kick off at 4 p.m. We'll talk about the under-23s very, very shortly, by the way, because they had a much better sort of a performance, a much better, I guess, result. And let's have a look at the goals. It was a 2-1 win over Heidelberg on Monday night. And as we can see, one of the goals scored there. And in the background, we've got the assistant coach of the under-23s, Ian Burke. Ian, good evening, and thank you for joining us on DinamoTV.
Tonchi, thanks for having me, mate.
As we can see, some of the highlights and the footage there. Good win on the end. Let's talk about the 23s for the moment. A good win there, and there's the ladder. 11 points from 8 games. A game against Altona Magic this weekend coming, which is a winnable game. The boys have been doing very, very well, haven't they? It's been a kind of a up and down sort of a performance. But look, at the end of the day, some of the players have progressed through to the seniors team, and that must be one of yours and Adam's, I guess, biggest achievements so far this season.
Yeah, definitely. That's always been the aim for both of us. We started together last year, trying to get these boys ready for senior football because there is such a big gap between the 23s and the seniors, and it's really pleasing for some of them to be offered senior contracts, to see a number of them over there training with the seniors and getting used to the pace of that, and also seeing some of them get game time. I think we saw the goal last week, the cup goal, Nick to Luca. Was great to see, and I'm spewing that that second goal. So this goal here, really nice play, build-up play. Luca Chabrea gets the ball again, and then he didn't even look. He didn't even look. He played that ball. He knew where Nick Murray was going to be, and that put us 2-0 up. Fairly early into the game. I think it was about 15, 20 minutes in, and from that point we bossed it. And even in the second half, we probably should have been 3 or 4, even 5 up before Heidelberg scored with about 15 to go, which made it a little bit nervous towards the end. But we managed to close it out and take the points.
Now, you obviously get movements happening at the top end and at the bottom end. So sometimes you get players moving on to the top into the senior team, or senior players dropping down to the under-23s. Then conversely, I guess you also sometimes have that movement at the bottom end with the under-18s, players either coming up or coming down. How do you and Adam, sort of try and keep the consistency, try and keep the fluency when you know you're going to have players coming in sort of that might not be part of the regular squad, so to speak?
Yeah, I think, look, we've just taken a flexible approach. We've got to be adaptable with our training sessions because we don't always know what sort of numbers we're going to get. Obviously, we train directly before the seniors. If the seniors need players, they go up there. And sometimes it's a little bit too late to call on the 18s players to come and help us out on those occasions. So we've just got to be flexible with the way that we approach planning our sessions. And that also flows into the weekend as well. So, I think it's really important too. This doesn't just happen, Adam and myself. It also happens with the 18s, with Mick and Dibby, with the work that they do with the 18s. So the fact that we collaborate together, and there'll be some weekends they might need the players more than we do, and vice versa. We try and work it out all together.
Now, we'll bring that ladder up again. So if we have a look at the competition standings, we've gone virtually a third of the way through, and at the moment we're kind of in a mid-table position. Now, as far as the finals, is it top 6 like it is with the seniors, with the NPL Victoria comp?
It's actually a little bit up in the air at the moment. I think the last we read was that they've decided to cancel the finals for the under-23s this year for some unknown reason. So, but look, I don't know. I guess we'll watch this space, and if the federation decides to change it back, which hopefully they do, because it keeps it more interesting for those teams that aren't in, say, the top two positions.
Yeah, well, if anything's to go by the federation, we'll probably find out about July or August, maybe a few weeks before the culmination of the season. But look, having said that, though, it's you guys are doing a great job, and it's great to see some of the younger players coming up through the ranks. We had Luca Chabraya and Nick Murray on, I think it was last week, actually.
Yep.
So it's good to see that they're getting a bit of that taste of senior football, but also when they come back to the 23s, like we saw that passage of play between those two, that was just absolutely scintillating stuff. So the things might not be so rosy with the seniors at the moment, but I'm sure that'll change. It's good to know that the 23s are coming along and plodding along at a good sort of even pace.
Yeah, hopefully, and it's just a matter of then finding consistency for some of these boys. And I guess they've got to adapt their approach as well and realise that when they drop from senior training to play 23s, it's not a case of dropping their standards. It's a case of bringing everybody else up to their level. So, which we certainly saw in probably the first maybe 50, 60 minutes of the game against Heidelberg. The standards were really good. And then as we made a couple of changes, maybe things didn't quite go to plan, but that's up to the other boys then to step up and show their worth when they come off the bench.
Yeah, mate, thank you so much for all of your efforts this year, not just assisting Tuna there with the under-23s and doing a damn good job, but everything with the DinamoTV on match days. And I guess it's understandable after last week's effort that we wouldn't have a post-match conference with the coach. But hopefully on Saturday night, things will change. It is a real six-pointer for the seniors and a real winnable game for the 23s. So we wish you, mate, all the very, very best of luck.
Excellent. Thanks very much for having me, Tonchi.
Good on you, Ian. Ian Burke, what a legend he is. He, on and off the field, does some amazing things for our club. All right, time to now move on and focus on the Junior Boys NPL. Last week, it was a trip up to sister club North Geelong to take on the Warriors at Alco Park. Brkacic scored the only goal of the game in the 14s. It was a 1-0 win to Dinamo. Unfortunately for the 15s, they lost to the second-placed team. North Geelong are not second place. I think they're about fifth. It was the under-16s that are second-placed. And we lost to them 3-1. Reiher, the only goal scorer for Dinamo. In the under-18s, it was a close game, but the under-18 Warriors ran out winners over the under-18 Dinamovci, 3-2. Angelis and Apostolikas scoring the goals for Dinamo. If we have a look at the ladders, with just one round to go of the grading phase, Dinamo will likely finish in 8th position in the under-14s. That means we will be playing Division 3. And the same goes with the under-15s. We will be playing in Division 3 once the home and away season kicks off in about 2-3 weeks' time. Looking at the 16s likewise will be playing in Division 3, having finished in 9th position. And the under-18s, when at one stage we were up near the top, have slipped and likely to be playing Division 3. So all 4 Dinamo teams will be likely playing in Division 3. The last game of the grading phase takes place this Sunday, and we will host our sister club and close neighbours, Melbourne Knights, at Churchill Reserve. The under-14s kicking off at 9:30, followed by the under-15s at 11:10. The under-16s then at 1 o'clock, and culminating with the under-18s at 3 o'clock. So that is that happening there. All right, time to talk women's soccer, women's senior women's football. And we're going to be joined very, very shortly by Tom Pondeljak, who's the senior women's coach. And they just last week, in fact, on Friday night, they had their Nike FC Cup game against Croydon City. And it's a pleasure to bring on to DinamoTV familiar face. He's been on the show before, Tom Pondeljak. Tom, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good, Tochi. How you going, mate?
Mate, not too bad, not too bad. I just realised that I'm starting to look a little bit green like an alien with these things that we're trying to do with these virtual screens. But for whatever reason tonight just isn't everyone's sort of feeling a little bit green at the club. But mate, the girls lost on the weekend, but it was a very, very gallant performance. Tell us about that.
Yeah, obviously played on last Friday night. Played at Croydon City for the Nike FC Cup. Going into the game, we didn't know too much about Croydon. All we knew that they were State 1 side. We knew it was going to be quite tough. But I said to the girls before the game that we needed to focus on ourselves. I wasn't worried about the opposition. I knew it was going to be really tough for the girls, but I just sort of seen it more as a really good sort of pre-season sort of fitness sort of hit out against a bit of a tougher opposition. And we came within a whisker of winning the game, but just unfortunately we had to go into extra time and we're running out of legs, and just ended up losing on penalties, which was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, well, there we see the scoreline 3-3 after the full time and extra time. Goals by Abby Pavlinušić, Jana Cholina, Sienna Delia, and then on penalties, unfortunately, Croydon City ended up winning 4-2. We also copped a red card because Taylor Pavlinušić got 2 yellow cards. Now, did that happen in the 90 minutes, or did that happen during extra time?
Yeah, no, it all unfolded in regulation time. I think it was roughly about 10 minutes before the end. Like I said, the girls put in such a performance and dug so deep for the game that a lot of tired legs, and Taylor, unfortunately, just a little bit slightly behind the player. She was trying her best, but legs were a bit weary, and she sort of caught the player a little bit late, and it was the second yellow card. But we went into extra time with 10 players. I knew it was going to be ultra difficult. We were a little bit light on the bench. We were missing a few girls on the night. We actually got our noses in front in extra time. Somehow or another, Sienna ended up scoring a goal. She got awarded a penalty, and it was just literally in the last 30 seconds of extra time that we conceded a goal and had to go to penalties. And I just said to the girls, I'm just so proud, and it was just a pleasure to watch. What they really sort of had to offer. I was a little bit surprised, considering it was only our second game of the pre-season and against real tough opposition. They surprised me in a way where I didn't think that they had it in them at this stage, but I've always known that that potential's there. We just had to bring it out at some stage, and I'm just really happy that it's sort of come out just a couple of weeks out from the season proper. So, it was all good times. Unfortunately, one of our girls, Diana Tovolo, she went down with a bit of a knee injury. Sort of didn't look too good. She was sort of saying it was her ACL, so there's a potential ACL injury, and it will be the second one if it is confirmed. But she got scans sort of this week, and we're just still waiting on results. But look, we're hoping for the best. Worst case scenario, we've already said to her that the girls are with her, the coaching staff's with her, and the club is as well. So we'll do everything we can to help her out if it is worst case scenario. Yeah,
is that this? Did you say that's the second time she's had an ACL, or a second player has had an ACL?
Both really.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, look, Diana, that will be her second, but 4 weeks ago, Steph Maverick as well at training. Just felt a little bit awkward, didn't think too much of it, and she went to get scans as well, and she's got a rupture in her ACL, and she's damaged the meniscus and fractured her tibia all in the one go. I don't know how she managed that, but look, that was devastating as it was, and then obviously with Dee on Friday, it's just compounded that. So look, Friday night was really mixed emotions for myself. I was just so proud and happy. Just the way the girls went about their business. The football on show was just awesome to watch from the sidelines. Like I said, the people that were there will know what I'm talking about. Their performance and they just literally played their hearts out, and it was just so pleasing to see. And I was just so happy for them that they really performed like exceptionally well.
Oh. Look, in the doom and gloom, there is some positives there, and look, the season is kicking off in 2 weeks' time with a blockbuster game under lights on Friday, April 19 against Greenvale United. The season kicks off with that game, so urging all Dinamo fans, young and old, male, female, come along on Friday, April the 19th. That's Friday week for the season kickoff. How are we looking overall? Do we know much about Greenvale United or any of the other teams in State 2?
Yeah, look, the teams, the fixtures got released the other day.
Yeah.
Greenvale were in our league last year, so we do know a little bit about him. But a lot of teams change personnel,
Yeah.
so sometimes it's a little bit hard to gauge until you've sort of played that first round of football. But look, we're expecting a tough game. They were quite decent last year. We had a win and a draw over them last year, but yeah, look, first game of the season. I think the girls are quite pumped up. I think they're pretty eager to go. And judging off the performance of last Friday night, we just look like we're in such a better place in the preseason to where we were last year. And as the girls are, as we are, as well as the coaching staff, we just can't wait till the season kicks off for next Friday night.
Yeah, it can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned. Tommy, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck to yourself and to the girls for the season coming. I'm sure we'll have someone on next week to pump up that game against Greenvale United. Friday week at Churchill Reserve under lights, 8 p.m. kickoff. It's going to be a feast of football. So thank you very much once again for joining us on DinamoTV.
No worries, Torchy. Thanks for having me, mate.
Good on you. Always a pleasure having Tommy Pondeljak, club legend, and he's now the senior women's coach, imparting his words of wisdom on a whole new generation of footballers. Well, last Sunday, speaking of the next generation of footballers, all the junior teams, the Croatian community-backed clubs, sent their junior teams and Mini Roos teams to Churchill Reserve to take part in the annual pre-season event that is the I&D Gala Day. Here's a couple of photos and snaps and from the action on last Sunday.
G'day, mate. What's your name? Dominic. Oh, number 5, Dominic, for the underage Kangaroos blue team. How long have you been at Dinamo now, Dominic? Yeah, a couple of years at least. I've seen you around the place. And what position do you play? Defender. All right, you've got 2 coaches, David and Tommy. Who's your favourite coach?
My dad.
Your dad, and your dad is? Tommy? Very good. Does he yell at you a lot because he's your dad, or is he does? He yells extra. Very good. Now, how do you reckon you'll go for the season? When the season starts, so you'll play some tournaments, you'll play some friendly games, season comes along, how do you reckon you'll go? Very good, mate. Good luck for the season, champion, and make sure your dad doesn't yell at you too much. How are you there, buddy? What's your name?
Dominic.
Dominic, what position do you play in the underage Kangaroos?
I would probably play like defence and midfielder.
Very good. Have you been at Dinamo for a few years now?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. And how do you reckon you'll go this season when you start playing in the actual league?
I don't know.
Yeah? I reckon if our defence is strong, we should go all right. And as long as the strikers score some goals, and we've got a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Very good. And your coaches are there. You've got David and you've got Tommy. Who yells more?
Oh, I can tell that's my dad.
How you going there, champion? What's your name, mate? Christian Jujuvic. All right. What age group do you play in, Christian?
7.
You're 7 years old? And you're playing the under 8s? Oh, very good. What position do you play?
I mostly play midfield
Yeah.
and a striker.
Oh, very good. And you've got a couple of coaches there. You've got David and you've got Tommy. Who's more strict? Who yells more out of those two? David. Very good. And who's your favourite player in the whole wide world in soccer?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Very good. Thanks very much. How are you there, champion? What's your name, mate? Oh, very good. What position do you play in the underage Kangaroos? Oh, very good. Have you played many games this year? Yeah, scored a couple of goals? Haven't scored any goals? Do you reckon you'll score some in the next couple of weeks? Is there another tournament coming up soon? Oh, very good. Thanks very much, champion. Okay, here we've got Lucas and Luca from our under 8 Kangaroos blue team. Boys, start with Lucas. How long have you been at Dinamo now?
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. What about yourself, Luca?
2 years.
Oh, very good. And what's your coach's name?
Tommy Razov and David. Tommy Kritzmar.
Tommy Kitsmart, Kirky.
David.
Very good. And David. Okay. Now, what position do you play, Lucas? Most goalkeeper.
Defense and stuff.
Defense. All right. Have you played any games this year already?
Yeah.
Okay. How have you gone so far? Came third in the tournament. Fantastic. And who's your favourite soccer player in the whole wide world? What's on the back of your jersey now? Luka Modric. What about yourself, Luka?
Ronaldo and Messi.
Ronaldo and Messi. Very good. Good luck for the season, boys. All the very best.
And we don't take from anyone. We hate Frankston. We hate Frankston. We hate Frankston. Who's there? Oh, and who? Oh, and the Saints. Go marching in. Oh, and the Saints go marching in. Oh, the inside of it. Oh, and the Saints go marching in. Go marching in. Oh, and the Saints go marching in. Oh, the inside of it. Oh, and the Saints go marching in. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Up the Premier League we go. When we win the A-League, this is what we sing. We are St Albans, Super St Albans. Crudy is our king.
What happened?
Coming and joining, we hope you all enjoyed it. Something a little bit different to what maybe you're used to. We enjoyed ourselves. We are happy to be here at St Albans Dinamo, so we definitely want to continue this, and we'll definitely hope to be in Melbourne again very soon this side of the year. So if you enjoyed yourselves, we'll keep in touch with you all anyway. Send you an email to say thank you as well, and let you know when our next event is, and we hope to see you all again soon. And I'm sure the next one will have even more people attending to make the camp even bigger. Okay, so thank you all. Make sure you send your parents for allowing you to be involved in this. Not always easy, and big thanks to the club and everyone involved. So thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, boys.
And that was footage from the recently held Football Tech Clinic on Monday and Tuesday at Dinamo. Lots of fun, lots of enjoyment, lots of characters, by the way. And to tell us all about that, someone who's heavily involved in the junior side of things and the football operations as far as the senior women's, STJEPAN GAL. It's an absolute pleasure to have STJEPAN back on Dinamo TV. Good evening, STJEPAN. How are you?
I'm good, Tonch. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Mate, let's start off with the Football Tech. A huge success, a resounding success, I'd say. How did you see it?
Yeah, I think, it was, for their first time sort of down in Melbourne, sort of making or doing a camp was really good. I think we had around 60 or so kids sort of attend the camp. The boys are really happy with that. So, yeah, it was good. It was good to see both kids from St Albans Dinamo and kids from sort of all over, Metro Melbourne, sort of coming down all the way to St Albans to get a bit of a taste of Football Tech and sort of see what they're about and yeah, it was really, really good actually. So yeah.
Yeah. Now they've obviously flagged future camps as well, future clinics as well. Have they have Glenn and the rest of the crew, have they sort of suggested what they're looking for with regards to future camps? Are they looking at kind of expanding their own operations down here in Victoria? Because they're quite renowned up there in New South Wales, aren't they?
Yeah, look, I think they're pretty smart and they know what they're doing in relation to sort of thinking about expanding in Melbourne. I think that might be a possibility one day down the track. But I think for the moment, they're pretty happy with what's happening in New South Wales and what they're completing over there. And, I think they're content at the moment to sort of be doing, the holiday camps when they can. Potentially maybe in September we might be doing another camp potentially.
Oh, yeah.
But we need to sort of have another catch up and sort of see when it suits them to come down as well. But from all accounts, the boys enjoyed themselves, and they're pretty happy with what they saw in relation to the kids that were involved in the camp. So in all, considering everything, that they're pretty happy with everyone that sort of turned up and gave up 2 days to sort of listen and learn from the guys down in Football Tech.
Yeah, now we saw some footage or saw some vision, I guess, of the I&D Gala Day held last Sunday as well. Always a big thing, always a big day for the club, but it takes a massive effort to put together from the volunteers and the coaches and the parents. It's just a big job, isn't it?
Yeah, look, just in relation to IND Gala Day, just, big thank you to all the volunteers and the parents, that sort of helped out. Firstly, Saturday, sort of putting all the goals up and helping in that regard, and setting up all the marquees and, marking the pitches, doing all of that and having everything sort of up and going on a sort of really professional sort of way. And then, come Sunday, we had people here from 5:45 in the morning, making sure everything was up, and putting all the barbecues together and all the rest of it. And so it was a really, really, really big thank you to all the volunteers and everyone that sort of worked endlessly in the kitchen and helped clean up and pack up and, cooked on the barbies, which was probably most important. But yeah, it was a really big effort from all our Mini Roos parents and also NPL parents that sort of, helped out on the day. So big thank you to them in relation to that. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome to see, mate. There's so much happening. Obviously, the junior season kicks off and the Mini Roos season kicking off, not this weekend, but the weekend after that. How are you looking? Is all in readiness? You're looking a bit tired there, a bit sleepy, no doubt.
The last probably Sunday, Monday, Tuesday were pretty, or Saturday, last 4 days, pretty big. Myself and Christian and a few others as well, and all the parents. It was a pretty big day. The IND Gala Day, we had 122 games.
Wow.
Over the day, we had probably over 60, 70 teams from our sister clubs competing in the day. So it was a really, really big day. And, I just can't say it enough, but thank you to all the volunteers and everyone that sort of helped out. But also thank you to all the sister clubs and Dandy City and Melbourne Knights and Strathmore and North Geelong for, making the effort every year to come down to, to support our club. And more importantly, it's a way of saying thank you to Ivan Filipovic and IND and putting their name in lights and all the help they sort of provide all our clubs to sort of forward. But yeah, it was a big 4 days. And now with the juniors sort of coming up to their season opener on the 21st of April, we're sort of, full systems go. We had our first training session tonight back at Dinamo. So we had all the teams back at the club, training both on pitch 2 and 3 and, making it work along with our senior squad, as pitch 1's not available at the moment. So, and also the under-23s were training. So we pretty much had the whole club tonight at Dinamo, excluding the NPLs, but we made it work. So
fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. Teams are ready to go, and a couple more players, a couple of teams, but we'll get
how are the numbers now? When we last spoke to you, the numbers were astronomical. I mean, there was such a big jump, 30% or something like that overall. The girls were just ridiculous. Like the some of the girls teams were just amazing. How have the registrations gone in the last 4
months? The registration, actually we've probably picked up another 5 to 6 girls since the last time we sort of spoke that have sort of joined the club. Unfortunately, we've had a few people sort of as well leave the club, but it is what it is. So, but in saying that, when one door closes, another one opens, and we've got some opportunities in our under-8 Kangaroos team. So we're looking for 2 Kangaroo players, 2016 born. So we're looking still on the lookout for that. And under-13s pre-NPL goalkeeper. So those are pretty much the only spots that are available. So we've had, a few girls as well approach us for spots, but unfortunately we sort of haven't had room, but we've given them the option to sort of train on and be part of the team while training. And if an opportunity arises, then they might be able to play a game, but we try our best not to sort of, let people go.
Yeah, it's always going to happen.
Or let the children go, sort of.
That's right, unfortunately. Now, turning our attention, we talked about the sister clubs coming to Churchill Reserve last week. Amongst them, Dandenong City. Always great to have Dandenong City supporting the IND Cup, as we do have all the other clubs as well. But this weekend, it's an opportunity for Dinamo to reciprocate the love that we have for the Croatian community and the sister clubs. The Dandy Cup is on, the inaugural Dandy Cup. Now, tell us more about what this cup is.
Yeah, look, from what I know, I think and massive shout out to Dandy for sort of putting this all together and being able to get I think it's close to almost 50 club or 50 teams or 50 something teams attending
52
teams,
teams, 29
yeah.
clubs, and that's a capacity, so they cannot take any more for what they're hoping to achieve.
Yeah, so it's a really amazing effort from Yuban and the team down there to sort of acknowledge girls football and sort of bring them into one spot and give them sort of something to what they deserve, really, to have a tournament that's probably that is girls only. So on the weekend, I think we've got 2 teams participating in the Dandy Cup, so it would have been nice to have all our teams. Unfortunately, due to other commitments and things like that, they weren't able to.
Which teams, Stepan? Which teams are going?
So we've got the under 9s that are participating and the under 15 girls that are participating in the cup. So that's going to be really good for them. And then also we were able to organise through Yuban and myself and the coaching staff of the senior women. They're going to have a game as well as the sort of finale of the whole thing. Sunday night, I think at 5:30 down at Dandy City. So it'll be a Dinamo Dandy sort of friendly game. So it's really good when you see clubs work together and sort of work toward one goal. It can only end up in a good spot. So yeah,
absolutely. No, that's fantastic news. Great to hear. Great to see. So much activity happening with the juniors and the mini roos, which is really good. And gosh, the meet the team tonight, the under 8s, the Tommy Krčmar coached boys. There's some characters there. I'll tell you what. What's a young fella at the Croatian top? Lucas.
Lucas Šakić, he knows it all, mate. He knows it all. There's really some good kids in there. So
there is great to see. Yeah, that's fantastic. Good on you, mate. Thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to speaking you throughout the season because I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots to talk about in the juniors and mini roos section.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Tonchi, and have a good night. And all the best.
Good on you. STJEPAN GAL representing the juniors, very, very heavily involved. There's so many people. If you start now naming people who are involved with the juniors, you're bound to miss someone, that's for sure. And you don't want to be doing that. Folks, from the juniors to the seniors, we'll be catching up with the Senior Football Operations Manager, Jason XERRI, straight after this break. As we said at the start of the show, it's been a very, very tumultuous week on and off the park for our senior men's team, which has culminated in the senior coach, Ryan McGuffie, parting ways with Dinamo. Well, we'll find out what has been happening behind the scenes and what is going to be happening this weekend and going forward when we speak to Jason XERRI, the Football Operations Manager. He'll be joining us straight after this break. It's DinamoTV that you're watching, folks. Don't go away.
Westar Prestige is a family-owned second-generation business which is celebrating 50 years of operations this year. They're a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. However, they service all regions in the state, with many of their clients travelling from far and wide to use their services. They're also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend their premises. They're an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facilities for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of their ongoing affiliation with these brands. They also work closely with a number of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust them to be part of their preferred repairer network. Their support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing Australian-owned business.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and it is time to talk seniors. And we are joined by a very, very well-known figure to DinamoTV, a well-known visitor, and he's always most welcome, Jason XERRI. Jason, welcome back to DinamoTV. probably not the circumstances we'd like to be talking about, but it has been a very, very tough week this week, hasn't it, on and off the field?
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's never a pleasant time for anyone when you part ways with your head coach. So, yeah, it's been a massive week in more ways than one. Obviously, the week probably didn't start off in the best form with the result on the weekend on Friday night. Absolute demoralising result. Yeah, against Heidelberg, which set that sort of tone, and it was a very disappointing, I guess, performance overall. So, yeah, that was probably the start of things. And look, obviously, we had a chat on Saturday, and yeah, we obviously parted ways with Guff, which wasn't the plan. If we go back to prior to 2000 and the 2023 season, the club's goal was to obviously Carini had been at the club for a long time, and to replace Carini with someone who we felt is going to take the role on. And again, we're always looking for something that's a bit more long term than just a short term stopgap. And look, we identified Guff at the time as being one of those people that can potentially fill that role, albeit he was, I guess, it was his first senior coaching gig, although he'd sort of filled in between here and there, and obviously had his time at Oakley. Mm-hmm. And look, I think he was we certainly don't regret giving him the opportunity, because obviously he did his best, and he was the kind of character that we were looking for at the club. And through that journey, he also I guess demonstrated all those attributes that we were looking for. And right from start to finish, from the day that he started, he's a great guy, and he's a real Dinamo person. And he's always been a gentleman from the day that he played here at the club as captain, and then was a TD, to the day that he when we parted ways, he was very gracious in the way he dealt with things towards the end on Saturday. So yeah, look, it wasn't pleasant, but look, the club's obviously needing to go in a different direction. We felt that going forward, look, we've played 8 games, so there's still plenty of football to be played for the rest of the season, and we just sort of felt we needed to make a change. Given the opportunity, give someone the opportunity to perhaps take the team on and achieve some of the goals that we want to achieve as a club. And I think one of those goals that we set out for 2 years ago is the fact that we don't want to be a club that's just there to make up numbers. And we're not a club that everyone talks about relegation. Well, certainly amongst ourselves and the, I guess, myself and people above me at the club, and certainly playing group and coaching group, that's not our ambition. We don't want to be that club that's always surviving just. And so, look, last year we accepted the fact that a new coach coming on board, after Carini's era, a lot of new players. We accepted the fact that last year was a transition year, and we dealt with the blows and the things that came with it. And this year we set out we said, look, we're not going to really accept the fact that the transition year was last year, and this year is a year we need to get runs on the board. And unfortunately, we haven't done that. And we owe it to our members and our fans and our team, at the club community, that we need to be better than that. And that's what we're striving for.
Yeah, there's been a lot of frustration on the terraces, on the sidelines over the last few weeks, just with the team's inability to be competitive in some games, but in other games to really kill the result in our favour. But we move on. Obviously, Ryan's always going to be welcome at the club. He's a club legend, a gentleman, as you mentioned, Jason, absolute gentleman. So he's certainly going to be welcomed at the club any day, any week. But moving forward, obviously this Saturday is a must-win game. It's a 6-pointer. It's one of those games where no ifs or buts, we need a win, because Altona Magic are one of the teams that are below us. There's only 3 teams below us on the ladder, as we can see there. Who's going to be taking over, the coaching the boys for this week, and what's the plan then moving forward?
Yeah, look, I guess the plan was obviously was to deal with the current situation, and as I said, we felt that we needed to move on, and obviously parted ways with Guff. But second to that, the decision was made that we weren't just going to rush into appointing someone just for the sake of appointing someone, and we felt very comfortable, and the fact that Paul Donnelly, the assistant coach, is more than capable of taking the reins for this point in time. And look, we'll see how that goes, over the next couple of weeks, whatever it may be, until such time that we come to a conclusion as to whether Paul Donnelly might be the man for the job. He's definitely, and I've had private conversations, and actually players calling me up and saying, look, we've got his back. We want to give him everything we can, and I'm sure I'm sure the boys will. So there was never any concern for us that, hey, Ryan's gone, and what are we going to do now? We feel very comfortable with Paul taking over. Look, we'll definitely be. We've been quite transparent with Paul in regards to the fact that we've got to do our due diligence as a club and make sure that we explore every option that there is out there for the betterment of the club. And if that happens to be Paul, so be it. If it happens to be someone else, so be it. So we're not rushing into any decisions just for the sake of it. We've got the confidence in Paul to do the job that needs to be done. Obviously, when a coach gets moved on at any club, you hear rumours and you hear names get thrown around and all that sort of thing. We've if you go by rumours, we've already appointed 15 different coaches and some silly things get thrown out there. But look, that's just life in football, and you have to accept that. But onwards and upwards. The Dinamo fans should be quite comfortable in regards to the squad that we've got and what we want to achieve going forward. It's a change. It's not the end of the world. It's not. We're not in a crisis mode. We just felt that we needed to make a change whilst we can give someone an opportunity to do well for the rest of the year. There's a lot of football to be played. There's still opportunities to finish in a good place. So let's. That's what we're aiming for, and we set out to be more than just another number, and we'll continue to stick to those goals.
Well, in that case, I would urge all Dinamo fans, young and old, to get out to Paisley Park on Saturday night. Apparently, there's been some ground improvements there. The road's been asphalted. It's probably looking a lot better than it was. So you can get a kebab roll while you're there, or you don't have to if you don't want to. But the most important thing is that you do support the boys. They do need your support. And so we're urging all Dinamo fans, young or old, to come along on Saturday night, support the club, support the boys. It's a 6-pointer. It's a game that we really, really need to win. But as you said, Jason, the club is very responsible in the way it's going about appointing a new coach. We're not going to rush into it. We're certainly going to try and do our very, very best under the circumstances. So we appreciate you coming on the show, on the Dinamo TV show, Jason, to let all the Dinamo supporters, members, fans and sponsors know what is going on. And as you said, you're being transparent. The club is being transparent, and certainly a 6-0 result was unacceptable, and we move on, and hopefully on Saturday night, it's not going to be a 6-0 result. Well, if it is, it's for us, but it's going to be a 6-pointer result in our favour.
Yeah, look, absolutely, mate. And look, I again reiterate the fact there's absolute confidence in our staff and with Paul in charge, and also too, we want to sort of give a shout out to our coaching group and our staff, including Adam Tonini and Ian Burke with the 23s, and our support staff in Stefan and Johnny the physio and Roy Hunter the goalkeeper coach, who do a tremendous job. And even obviously it is a difficult time for us, but everyone's stuck together and everyone's working hard and no one's dropping the ball and everyone's pretty focused. And it's easy to get distracted when things aren't going great or there's a big change. But look, to their credit, they've done a fantastic job, and we're very fortunate to have them on board. And it also comes to, when these situations happen, to have the right leaders at the club. I mean, ultimately, I'm only the football operations manager, and there's people above me who make big decisions. And it's good to see the likes of Ilya and Mickey and others making decisions that are they're level-headed and looking with things in a rational way. So that's a key. That's a key here. One more quick thing before I do forget. Irrespective of the result on the weekend, it was again, we acknowledge the fact that it was unacceptable and it was a terrible result. But there's always something that good comes out, something bad, and obviously our player of the week for this week is Marko Bulic. He had an exceptional game in goals, albeit he copped 6, but he really probably kept that scoreline to what it was, because it could have been a lot more. So well done, Marky, for his efforts again this week, and he gets the player of the week this week.
Well, the first player to win the player of the week twice this year. So well done to Marko Bulic. Congratulations to him. And, I guess if you're a goalkeeper and you're a developing goalkeeper, you sometimes want a lot of action. Maybe not 6 goals in your net, but nonetheless, he did very, very well. So well done to Mark. Jason, thanks, mate. And they say a week is a long time in football. Hopefully this time next week we'll be celebrating and we'll be happy and we'll be 3 points the richer. That's for sure. After Saturday's game against Altona Magic.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thanks for having me on the show, and I want to thank all our members and fans for supporting us through thick and thin. We one thing I can say is we're always out there trying to do the best for the club as much as we can.
Absolutely. Good on you, mate. Good night, and thank you once again for joining us on DinamoTV.
Thanks, Tom. Cheers.
Bye. We'll pop the details of that game again Saturday night. It really is like a mini grand final, folks. It really, really is. This Saturday, 13th of April, Paisley Park. The kickoff times do turn up earlier. Unless you've got some sort of social event on and you're unable to make it, do turn up a little bit earlier. The under-23s are in action at 4 p.m. And then the seniors kicking off at 6:15 p.m. A must-win game for us. It's a must-win game for Altona Magic, but more so for us. And certainly let's hope that we can continue getting those points, particularly against those lower-placed teams. That's it for me. Pretty much 60 minutes right on the spot. I thought we were going to go a little bit longer than that. But thank you once again for joining us on DinamoTV. We look forward to your company again next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Until that time, go out and get yourself a little bit of a fix of Dinamo, whether it's the juniors, the seniors, the women's, or the veterans maybe. Until next week, good night.